Sample batch 2. This batch is also comprised of 5 transactions, each of which has a deposit ticket and the deposited items that follow. All items in the scanner are captured. Images of the items being captured flash through the window at the bottom of the capture screen. Until the end batch or F6 key is selected, the software will continue to accept items into the open batch. For this batch, no items require image quality management, so we are free to move forward to the next steps and perform any required corrections. Within teller operations, the first tab includes items that need to have their amounts entered by the bank employee. The second tab within teller operations is for reject repair, or items that need to have a character or field from the microline keyed. Note the messaging at the bottom of the screen that provides some signal to the user as to why this item requires attention. The third and final tab in teller operations is for balancing. Batches are comprised of one or more transactions. If any transaction is out of balance, then the batch remains out of balance. The solution provides multiple tools to assist with balancing. The balancing module will direct the user to the first transaction in the batch that needs to be addressed. In this example, the transaction is bracketed by white bars, indicating the potential for a transposition error in the numbers of the credit to the debit total. After a brief review of the items within the transaction, we see that the credit amount was declared by the customer to be $9 lower than the total of the related debits. The user inserts a virtual adjustment with all the required internal bank coding that balances the transaction. In this batch, we also have 2 transactions that are out of balance by the same amount, but in opposite directions. One transaction is 300 too high, while the other is 300 too low. By scrolling through the images of the deposit tickets, the payee names, and the items, the user can see that one item was incorrectly inserted in front of its deposit ticket, thereby pushing both transactions out of balance. Instead of having to delete this item, these transactions, or this entire batch, the user can select the item to move, determining the appropriate relative sequence number of the desired destination, and move the image. This brings both transactions to a balanced state and completes the balancing of the overall batch. No additional paper was introduced to any of these balancing corrections, and no rescans or rejects needed to be processed. Sample batch 2 is now balanced and has been transmitted to the same location as sample batch 1. Each batch required a different level of attention by the user, but in each case, the result was a completed and balanced batch, all controlled easily by the back counter capture user.